What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Here we are with another reaction video. In this one we have how and why India built the world's biggest office. Before we dive in, if you guys would like to support the channel by becoming a member, all you gotta do is hit that join button and you'll receive exclusive benefits that I know you guys would enjoy. But without further ado, let's dive into this.
Time for a quick quiz. Which structure has over 7 million square feet of office space, houses nearly 70,000 workers, and ranks as the largest office building in the world?
Gotta be the bottom left, right? It's got to be the bottom left. Bottom left.
If you guessed the Pentagon, then you're wrong.
Is that what I guessed?
In 2023, the title of world's largest office was taken from the Potomac Polygon and handed to this gigantic new development in the Indian city of Surat. Thousands of offices, 10,000 square meters of restaurants and cafes, parking for 5,000 cars and 10,000 motorbikes, 131 elevators, 9 courtyard gardens, retail outlets, and conference halls are all built across this 35-acre high-security compound. A structure this size is a true milestone for India's construction industry.
Yeah.
And with a long list of specialist requirements and a pandemic to contend with, building it was no mean feat. In an age of hybrid work, where office buildings are sitting empty around the world, this enormous edifice had guaranteed full occupancy before a single piece of rebar was placed. So, who could possibly need a building this big?
Shout out to India. Look at the infrastructure here. Everything about this office is so freaking perfect. The design is fire. This is incredible.
This is the story of how and why India built the world's largest office.
Dang.
But diamonds are a girl's best friend.
If you've ever bought a diamond or are lucky enough to have been given one, the chances are it came through here. This is Surat in the western Indian state of Gujarat, where
I was thinking like gold. I wasn't thinking diamond. When I think India, I think gold. But diamonds too?
Here. This is Surat in the western Indian state of Gujarat, where a whopping 90% of the world's diamonds are cut and polished. But as big as this industry is for the city, it has a problem. Rough stones arrive in Surat, where they are processed in one of the thousands of small workshops spread around the city. Most of the finished products are then collected by merchants who travel to Mumbai, over 200 kilometers away, where the diamonds are traded and sent around the world. It's not exactly efficient, and it would be much better for everyone if the whole business could take place in one city. Or for that matter, in one building. That's why a group of nearly 5,000 of the city's diamond businesses got together to form the SDB, Surat Diamond Bourse, and this is what they commissioned. This enormous $388 million building was designed to house India's entire diamond industry under one roof. That's cutters and polishers from Surat and merchants and traders from Mumbai. 4,700 offices containing 67,000 people. But where do you even start when designing a building this big? Do you go for a skyscraper? Well, the problem with this is with such a huge volume of people entering and leaving through a relatively small space, it's a really inefficient way to manage the flow of people.
That makes sense.
Plus, because the SDB is organised along the lines of a guild, all the businesses it represents have equal status. So anything that resembles a hierarchy is kind of out of the picture.
I feel that. I like that.
Block instead? Well, there you might run into the problem of light. Each office needs access to daylight, which is the best quality for viewing diamonds in. So anything with a deep floor plan is no good. Okay, what about a big donut? Well, there you have the problem of too much of a good thing. Any office facing east or west would get blasted by direct sunlight, forcing anyone inside to pull down the blinds and flick the light switch. So let's recap. It needs to be big enough to cope with the flow of tens of thousands of people and have perfectly consistent light conditions across all floors, and be able to cope with Surat's stifling humid heat and monsoon rain. That's the challenge that was presented to architects Morphogenesis. They began by tackling the vast numbers of people the building had to serve.
We'd never done anything close to this before. And we're looking at this and wondering, how are we going to get people in and out of a building that's 7 million square feet? They're all going to come in within a span of an hour in the morning, and they're all going to leave in a span of an hour in the evening.
To deal with this, the architect set a target that any employee could reach their office within 7 minutes of entering the gate.
So we started thinking about it inside out, and we did a lot of traffic simulation and security simulation of what would that structure be, and it sort of turned out to be this sort of a fishbone vertebra kind.
I think the fact that so many of them all came together to build this office together, but they're all still represented equally in these buildings is truly something phenomenal. It's just so dope. Like this is absolute fire. And then they thought of every little detail in order to build a building like this. I've never seen any building or offices like this in my life. So this is really fascinating to me.
Of what would that structure be? And it sort of turned out to be this sort of a fishbone vertebra kind of plan, which of course is a very efficient way of distributing nerve signals from the brain to the rest of the body, and it's a very efficient method in nature.
9 15-story towers flank a 400-metre central spine. As well as speeding up access by aligning the building north to south, it also solved the tricky problem of lighting.
Yeah.
The heights of each of those towers and the distances between them, which are connected by the spine, the distance between them are calculated so that the office at the bottom also gets 100% daylight, and it doesn't get overshadowed.
The building's spine also helps it cope with the
crazy.
extreme climate. Each end flares out to catch the prevailing winds, which are funneled through the complex and provide 50% of the building's cooling needs. The communal spaces in the spine and courtyards are also essential for creating the environment that diamond traders are used to.
The traders,
Oh
they don't
God.
actually sit around in conference rooms. They carry these diamonds in little packets in their pocket, and they sit under a tree, have a cup of tea, and the trade is done.
So that's the design, but how on earth do you actually build something this big?
Yes.
Well, after ground broke in December 2017, it took 6,000 people 4.5 years
my
to construct this gigantic building. But the biggest challenge faced was undoubtedly during COVID. As global supply chains dried up, the vast quantities of materials needed to continue construction had to be sourced a lot closer to home.
Oh,
We
dang.
said localize all the materials. Only materials that are within a 500-kilometer radius that we can get access to. The ceilings were all manufactured in a place called Morby nearby. We designed and built an on-site fabrication plant for making the unitized glazing. And so just raw glass was coming in from a factory nearby, and this on-site plant was manufacturing fully unitized units.
As big as the SDB is, this is only the first phase of an even bigger plan called Dream City. A 7 square kilometre smart city providing even more housing and offices, all for the diamond industry. But this
I heard of a smart city. I didn't think it was for the diamond industry. I don't know if it's the same smart city that I've reacted to before. This is a different smart city.
future may not be so glistening. The global economic downturn, along with the Ukraine war, has hit the jewel market hard. Earlier this year, 20,000 people in the industry lost their jobs due to a fall in trade. But regardless of what happens with the wider economy, this building has already taken on a life of its own and become an iconic structure for a proud public.
It's brought architecture conversation in everyday life, which really wasn't the case in India. We see that it began to drive tourism. People want to visit it, want to go and study it. I mean, now you can, call a tourist operator, and they've got Surat Diamond Bourse as one of the things that you should go and go and visit. I think after 2 years of pandemic, everyone sort of, I think it's just sort of given people a symbol, not just a vision. So I think in some senses it's been really good that way.
Don't forget that we're inspiring the next generation of builders through our...
Oh, skip the sponsorship. I think this building is absolutely phenomenal. This office is truly a spectacle. It is truly a marvel. They all came together to get this built, and then they localized all the stuff once COVID hit and they couldn't really ship a lot of stuff in. Resources started becoming scarce. They localized everything. This is just... Oh, it's phenomenal. I can't wait till the smart city's done, bro. I'm telling y'all, India. That India is a land of innovation right now. India is a land of infrastructure. India is growing and rising so fast. It's truly amazing to watch. That's all we have. If you guys enjoyed that, please don't forget to subscribe. Give the video a thumbs up and check out that next one. I'll see you guys next time.